Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 8 review, and this is the mid-season finale. Now, pretty much, if you've ever watched any of my mid-season finales for any TV show that I've done, how I normally structure it is, I talk about the episode itself, and then I give my thoughts on it, of what I thought of the episode, and then I'll talk about what the critics and the fans thought of it, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about what I thought of the, series thus far. Um, and this is definitely going to be pretty big adjustment because a lot of big stuff happened just within this episode. So I'm going to start off by talking about it. This episode is called No One's Gone, and it came out on June 10th, 2018. And um, this episode kind of had two storylines, and I'm not going to talk about everything in order because, like I've talked about before, it makes the video really sloppy. But I'm going to talk about, you know, the review the way I want to, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. So the episode didn't start this way, but I'm just going to start here talking about the present. And um, they, Morgan, Althea, John, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Jim, but John, um, Naomi, and Charlie all enter the stadium. Um, and pretty much John is starting to lose blood very quickly, and they have to get the medical supplies, or else he'll pretty much die and then end up turning. But they have no way to get into um, the medical supplies because there's a hood of infected slash wanderers slash walkers in the way. So Althea uses the UTZ guns to clear a path. And the reason she didn't just have release them all and just kill all of them is because she only had enough ammo to make one path. And Morgan and Naomi went in there to get the medical supplies. But then, and Charlie films it, and Morgan's even kind of like, you really don't need to film this right now because John's about to die. But Althea wants to film this because she wants everybody to show, she wants to see how this stuff happened and how it could have happened. So, um, Althea was told by Naomi that if anything goes wrong to radio her and she'll give him advice. But then Alicia, Luciano, and Victor ended up following them, and they get into a shootout with Althea as Morgan and Naomi are getting the medical supplies, and they're doing, and it's pretty much a stalemate. But then John is on the verge of dying because he's starting to lose more blood, and pretty much he can't lose any more blood or else he'll completely die. So Naomi tells him to put more pressure on his wound, and Morgan and Naomi are killing the infected slash walkers on the way into the into the infirmary, and Naomi gets the medical supplies that she needs. Um, and then Alicia tries to completely blow up the SWAT truck, but then what's her name? Althea radios in and pretty much says that all this stuff is pretty much indestructible. What I thought was funny about this is when she said that, the door fell off and Alicia was standing right there. I thought that was kind of funny. That made me chuckle a little bit. And Alicia takes Charlie hostage and threatens to shoot her if Althea doesn't radio in to um, Morgan and Naomi, telling them that it's safe to come out. Because pretty much Alicia wants to kill Naomi. That's why they're doing all of this. So Althea reluctantly does that, and when Naomi and Morgan are getting ready to come out, because pretty much what happens is Victor and Luciana are pretty much ready to shoot her immediately right when she comes out. John holds down the button on the walkie-talkie, and Morgan and Naomi overhear that Alicia's in there because pretty much Althea warned them that they were there. So they realize that it's actually not safe for them to come out. Um, so Morgan offers to go out there because they don't want to kill Morgan. So pretty much they think that they're going to reluctantly hold back. And Victor and Luciana get suspicious when they don't come out. And Alicia realizes what John did, and um, they get Althea and Alicia get into a struggle. Alicia overpowers her at first and holds Althea over the infected, but Althea is able to fight her off. She pushes her into some stuff, and then Alicia realizes that um, she has this soup that Althea has, and she asks where she got it. And Althea is very confused about this and just said that she found it. I forget exactly. She did say where, but I forget where she said. And this is important because throughout the episode, they had shown us some flashbacks. Um, Pretty much what happens is in the beginning of the episode, Madison finds this person and holds her at gunpoint and tells her to throw her keys. And we find out, but she ends up tripping, and obviously, too, Madison is still the same way as she was at the end of season 3. So this had taken place before she went anything that happened in season 4, and she trips on a tripwire that causes her to trip and shoots the person's soup. And who do we find out it is? None other than Althea. And um, Madison takes Althea hostage because and threatens and Althea didn't give her the real keys, and Althea gives her the same deal that she gives to everybody, that she'll give um, Madison what she wants for her story. And obviously Madison refuses, so Althea cuts herself loose and tries to attack Madison, but Madison trips her, and this knocks out Althea, which I did kind of like that Althea didn't. Madison fought her off because normally when somebody breaks free of like being tied up or something, they get the advantage. That wasn't the case this time. And Madison wants the tapes because Althea said what she used them for, and Madison is trying to find tapes to see if she's met um, any of the kids, Nick or Alicia. Um, but when she realizes that they haven't. Now, what was confusing about this is I thought this took place after the events of the last episode, but we find out that it actually didn't. So will admit, I thought that was a little bit confusing, but it didn't really make me pissed off or anything. I think a lot of people a lot of the fans, anyways, were pissed off about this, and that kind of ruined their enjoyment of the episode. But I still enjoyed the episode, and I kind of thought it made it a nice twist. I didn't even like that it was a nice twist that Althea and Madison had met each other before. I thought that was a unique twist. I thought that was kind of cool. Um, but one of the infected comes over and Madison kills it, rolls down the window of the truck, and obviously Althea catches up to her and she gets zip tied, and Madison gives Althea her story, and Madison really isn't telling her much of her story. So Althea tells her that she used to come from a village where somebody used to think that they were in charge and they had all types of guns and weapons, but then they found he said he had all these types of weapons, but we find out that he actually didn't have all these weapons, um, and um, yeah, we find out that he actually didn't have all these weapons. It was he just made it up. So when everybody found that out, they were able to overthrow him. And I obviously thought that was unique because that's kind of the same thing that Madison did to her. So I like that. So Madison says that what she wants is to give her kids a safe community for her to go to. Um, because they haven't found one yet pretty much since the zombie apocalypse broke out. Now, obviously, she didn't say zombie apocalypse because this takes place in a world where they wouldn't say zombie apocalypse, but you get what I'm saying. Um, so, she said she doesn't care where it is. And they relate this to a story that she tells when Madison and her family would rent a cabin somewhere, and there was this bird that wasn't able to fly and was very unhealthy. So Nick and Alicia nursed it back to health. And Madison was afraid that this bird eventually was going to die, but Nick and Alicia were willing to do whatever it took to save the bird. So what ended up happening was um, they she woke up one day and the bird was saved, and this gave Madison hope because Nick and Alicia weren't willing to give up on this bird. They were willing to do whatever it took to help it survive, and the world needs more people like that. So I did kind of like this. Now this does tie in because they gave this bird a name, and I'm trying to find it on Wikipedia, and I'm reading really fast, so I'm going to see um, if I can find the name of this bird because it does tie in. I'm just going to try to see if I can find the name of this bird. Which actually, that probably should have been the name of the episode, so that way I could find it easier. Now, it doesn't say the name of the bird, but pretty much this ties in because um, the name of the well, I'll actually say it in a second. So because Madison gave her a story, Althea gives Madison a map, food, and a radio, so that way she could find her children. And obviously, that Althea believes that they're going to meet again someday. Um, and um, what ends up happening is Madison reconnects um, with her children, and she reveals the baseball stadium. And Althea did have an influence on Madison because since Althea helped Madison, Madison wanted to be like that to everybody else. She wanted to give everybody else a community for them to live in, and I liked that. I thought it was a really nice twist. Um, and it did show that like Althea, her little thing, had an influence on Madison's. And her influence caused pretty much season 4 to happen, minus the vulture stuff. So pretty much though, the reason this ties in is because the name of that bird was the name of the tape. That was the name of Madison's interview of the tape that Althea took. Um, so I actually kind of liked that. Now, actually, too, there is some Easter eggs in there. Now, obviously, you had to watch Talking Dead to find that out, but I just looked it up online. There was some Easter eggs with was supposed to where Althea somehow has met Abraham and Eugene from The Walking Dead because um, there's a tape that has some sort of name with them, and they have like the same SWAT talk as she has, and there's a possible chance that she's met Daniel Salazar because there's a tape in there that says DS, and that's obviously his initials. Which I kind of hope we see Daniel Salazar because I don't really like the fact that they wrote his character off, and he pretty much hasn't really had much of a send off. I think that's kind of weak, but I really hope that happens. But then it cuts back to the present, and um, Althea then realizes that everything that Madison was talking about, and um, then next Morgan's about to go out there and get John his medicine or the medical supplies, whatever. But Alicia comes in and holds him at gunpoint and tells Morgan to move because she wants to kill Naomi, but Morgan doesn't want to. He tries to talk Alicia out of it, but he's to no avail. And Alicia said she's doing this. It's because it's because of Naomi, her mom died, and obviously it went to commercial after this, which I thought was a timely placed commercial because they had relieved like a big. It was like a big reveal, and I thought it was a well placed commercial. And obviously it was a big shock. I was kind of like, wow, Madison's dead. But that explains pretty much why they wanted to break out into this war with the vultures. That's what really caused it. And But Morgan pretty much talks Alicia out of killing um, Naomi. And I kind of like this because Morgan pretty much realizes everything that Rick has been saying because he's been trying to get away from people just like Alicia. Well, not really Alicia, but he's been trying to get away from people because people always come back to it. And he also wants to do this because pretty much it cost, he didn't do it for Nick and it cost him his life. So I like this a lot. This was kind of like a huge character change for Morgan as well. So eventually she gives up, well, she puts down the gun and Morgan takes it from her. And Naomi goes to save John. And then the next scene, Alicia agrees to tell Naomi the story of what actually happened to Madison. So, um, I like the way this was done. They do an interview with Althea, and as they're telling the story, it would show um, little snippets of footage of what was going on, and I thought that was well done. But pretty much what happened was after Madison went out, after the events of the last episode, Madison was going out to um, kill, um, all the infected, and they were pretty successful, but they needed to get back into the stadium, but there was just too many infected um, for them to go back in, so they wanted to lure the affected away. But when they opened the gate, everybody in the community tried to escape, and the infected ended up killing them. So they realized they had to escape the community because it was just overrun with infected. So they were originally just going to drive away, but Madison had a better idea. She took, um, I don't forget, but she leads the infected away and goes into the stadium, locks herself in, um, and um, however, there's so many of the infected in there, um, she can't get out because they're also out there. So um, Madison ended up dying, obviously, and she sent one last radio in telling Nick and Alicia to continue being who they are. And I did like the way Madison got killed. Madison killed herself to save her family and everybody else, um, and also give Nick and her kids a better life. Um, so the way Madison went out, I thought made sense. And then after um, Althea finishes the interview, she titles the tape Madison and dedication for Madison, and the rest of the group are reading the same soup that she gave Madison. So I liked the ending of the episode. And that's pretty much the end of the season. Well, the end of the episode. I liked the episode. I thought it was actually really good. I really liked it. I thought it was very eventful. I liked the stuff with. Oh, well, we also found out Naomi's real name. She told John her real name is June, which is really weird because this episode was made in June, and John said that he likes that name because it's his favorite month. Um, but I like the way this was done. Um, I thought I liked you know um, Alicia in this episode. I thought Morgan was done really well in this episode. I liked the reveal of the twist that Madison and Althea have met. And obviously, I'll talk about what I think about Madison actually being killed off in a second, but I liked, the story that went behind that. So I liked that. I'll give the episode a B. I thought it was really good. But now we're going to talk about Madison being killed off. Not a fan of that. It was pretty much the main character they just killed off. And um, I like the way it was done. It would have been better if we didn't already know she was going to be killed off. I thought it would have been made more of an impact, because pretty much it would have left fans in more shocks and it would have been more suspenseful. But because we already knew she had been killed off, it still was done. I thought it didn't have the same effect. I thought like when Travis was killed off, I thought that was a little bit better because um, you know it was more of a surprise, and he was killed off in like the second episode. She was killed off in the right episode though because it was the mid-season finale. So, and it was a big. So obviously it makes sense to kill off a big character. Um, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that. She's pretty much been in the series since the beginning, and she's the main character. Um, what I'm guessing is gonna happen now is, like I talked about, I did say I'd like to see Morgan be a main character. I'm guessing Morgan is gonna be the main character of the show now. This makes me question if Fear the Walking Dead's gonna end soon now and merge with the Walking Dead because they pretty much have killed all of the original characters except for Victor and Alicia. But yeah, so I'm not really a fan of Madison being killed off. Um, so yeah, I am gonna kind of wait and see what happens though. Um, but that's that. As for what I think of the season thus far, I think the season's been good. Um, I liked I liked I like Morgan being involved in this season. Um, I think he's actually been a big part of the season thus far, where he was, his influence on each of the characters has been really good. I even like the way they brought him in and stuff. I did like the storyline with the vultures, which was pretty much took up the whole season. And I like the introduction of John, June, um, Althea's storyline. I think the characters are pretty likable. I like the way Nick was killed off and the way Madison was killed off. I do like that part of it. What I didn't like about this season though was the flashbacks, just because it didn't really it made the episode kind of not as suspenseful because we already kind of knew what happened. Um, so and um, it didn't really it didn't make the episode as suspenseful. And like when they would try to feature Nick in the flashbacks when he had already been killed off, it was kind of tough to care about his character. Um, so things like that. Um, but obviously I don't like that they killed off two of the main characters. Now, obviously with Nick, it's really I feel like they didn't really have a choice but to kill him off since the actor wanted to go off and do other projects. And like I said, I can't really say if it's had a big influence yet on the series because he's still been in it throughout the rest of the episodes. But but that's what made it really weird is a character would get killed off in the present, but then you would watch the past, and it's tough to care about his character because he's already been killed off. And obviously, too, I think the baseball it was just really weird, like the main cast when you saw them again, how they were brought back because they were pretty much just at the baseball stadium. Well, now that we've seen them go to the baseball stadium, I just thought it was kind of rushed because pretty much it went from them being in Mexico to all of a sudden they're in Texas. I mean, I guess they're not really far away from each other, but we don't know what happened to Daniel. We don't know if he's been killed off or what. I don't really like that part of it. I think his character being gone has kind of affected the series. He's definitely missed in the series. I know technically he wasn't in season 2 though, but um, pretty much he's killed off. He's just written off, no explanation, no nothing. Um, and while they did a better job of explaining it, I just think it was kind of rushed. I think what happened was they wanted to get Morgan in this series, so what they did was just kind of rush um, getting them to Texas. And yeah, so I think Texas and Virginia obviously are not that far away from each other because Morgan pretty much walked all the way there. Um, but yeah, um, I definitely would say though, if you were to ask me though, if you what I would prefer, if I would prefer this or The Walking Dead, I would definitely prefer this season over any season of the first half of the season versus any season of The Walking Dead at the moment because I think it was just done a lot better, which is kind of funny, but that's just the truth. Um, so, but I don't think the season though has been as good as 3 or 1. I think it's been better than 2. So I would say it's a good season so far. But we'll have to wait and see what happens within the next episode. But Madison and Nick being killed off, I'm not really a fan of. But like I said before, I can understand Nick's case because the actor wanted to do other projects, so they pretty much didn't have a choice but to kill him off. Madison, it's not like Madison does have other projects coming up, but yeah, I just kind of find it really weird too that Madison got killed off the same time we found out that you know, this season of Walking Dead is going to be Rick and Maggie's last season. So I find that kind of interesting. So I'm thinking, Fear the Walking Dead. This might be the last season of Fear the Walking Dead. I think it's going to end up merging with the Walking Dead. So, um, and maybe they don't want to have. Well, actually, I don't know. If Rick's going to be killed off, why not just put Madison with their group? I don't know. It's going to be really weird. So I'm thinking this is going to be the last season of Fear the Walking Dead because they pretty much just killed off the main character. So now but as for what, I'm not really gonna say like whether Madison or Nick being killed off. I did say I don't like the decision. I can't really say it's a bad decision because I have to see the episodes play out, and pretty much Nick and Madison not gonna factor into the next to the second half of the season because the Vulture storyline's pretty much over now. So I will wait and see, and when I talk about the season finale of this season, I will judge it then. Um, I'm guessing now Morgan's going to be the main character now, though, which I think makes sense because everybody knows him the best. I think everyone likes him the best, so it's going to be definitely interesting. So that's pretty much my review of this episode. What did you guys think of this What do you guys think of this season thus far? Even though it's technically already happened, probably for everybody else. And what did you guys think of this episode? And that's pretty much it. Like, comment, and share this video and all that. And make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell. So that way, every time I upload a video, you guys get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers YouTube channel. Got some videos I'm going to upload there tomorrow. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.